This is the Servola briefing. Here are the biggest enterprise tech stories from the last 24 hours. Let's get into it. Anthropic's IPO prospectus will name public opposition to AI and data centers as a formal risk factor, CNBC reports. A Gallup survey found 7 in 10 Americans oppose new data centers nearby, half of them strongly. SpaceX's own IPO filing named product risks tied to Grok, but skipped this one entirely. Anthropic chose to write down the risk that looks worst on paper. Alibaba is selling 710 million new shares to raise $10 billion, all earmarked for AI chips and infrastructure. The placement is the largest primary follow-on ever by a Hong Kong-listed company, third largest anywhere in the world this year. Alibaba chose dilution over debt, the opposite of how other AI vendors have financed the same build-out this year. Cisco disclosed 9 vulnerabilities in Crosswork and Secure Workload, the software that runs and secures entire networks. 5 scored a perfect 10 out of 10 on the industry severity scale. Crosswork's flaws include SQL injection and missing authentication, and Cisco confirms no workaround exists, so upgrading is the only fix. Secure Workload is built to enforce zero trust between systems, so its own perfect score flaws undermine the very boundaries it exists to protect. An unauthenticated flaw in NASA JPL's AIT GUI let anyone on the network send commands straight to real spacecraft hardware without a password. It scored 9.4 out of 10 and was patched in version 2.5.2 on August 12th. Versions before that bound their listener to every network interface with no authentication or protection on the routes that change state. A malicious web page visited by an operator was enough to reach the hardware. Take-Two filed subpoenas against Microsoft and Discord over a GTA leak, and a federal court approved both the next day. Microsoft must hand over device identifiers, IP addresses, phone numbers, and linked account details tied to the suspected leaker. Discord's order goes further. It demands identities for every member of 3 servers, active since June, not just the one person accused. Running a community is no shield from that. A new report from Ember shows battery-backed solar already meets a quarter of evening peak power demand in California and Bulgaria. Solar met 10% of global electricity in the first half of this year. Bulgaria, Chile, and Australia each built enough new battery storage last year to shift over 60% of their new daily solar into the evening. Grid planners have a today problem, not a future one. Since August 18th, any EU court can compel a vendor based elsewhere in the EU to hand over data, bypassing the old cross-border process entirely. The standard deadline is 10 days, but the emergency procedure is just 8 hours. A provider that fails to respond risks a penalty of up to 2% of its global turnover. Only 4 of 27 member states have the administrative machinery ready to use the rule properly. UK publisher groups are urging the competition regulator to exclude AI chatbots like ChatGPT and Perplexity from Google's mandated search choice screen. That screen was built to protect competition among search engines, not to route users toward AI tools that answer a query and skip publisher sites entirely. The filings escalated publicly last week from 3 separate publisher bodies. Every business that lives on search referral traffic is watching this fight closely. That is your briefing. The full analysis on every story in 10 languages, free, at servola.de/journal. We will see you tomorrow.